This video is about 4 weeks late. Every time I've tried to get out with the red Komodo and these lenses, it's been raining here in New Zealand. So most of the test footage you will see in this video will be shot with the C70, which I'm recording on at the moment, because I'm much happier getting the C70 wet than I am the red Komodo. I have the 35mm, the 50mm and the 65mm. All of the lenses in this range are designed for Super 35 or APS-C sensors. They will not work on full frame sensors. You can also get the 10mm, which is on the red Komodo, and I have done a review on that. I'll link to that down in the description. They do a 25mm and also an 85mm in this range, which is their mini cinema primes. I have the 35mm T2.2, the 50mm T2.2 and the 65mm T2.2. As you can see, the gear rings match up exactly and the iris rings match up exactly, so it will make it really easy to change these lenses if you're using a follow focus system. There is a little bit of difference in height, but that won't make any difference when you change the lenses. The gear rings and the iris rings match up perfectly. All of the lenses come with a 77mm front filter thread, and they also come with a pinch style lens cap, and on the lens cap you have the focal length and the T-stop. That's a nice touch from MEIKE. Makes it much easier to find the right lens in your bag when you've got it on the lens cap. Would be nice if they put it on the rear cap as well. All of the lenses in this range have a 270-degree focus throw, and they have hard stops either end. And the focus rings on all of these lenses is very smooth. There's a little bit of resistance, but that's not a tightness, it's just the way they're designed. But there's a nice little bit of resistance, but there's no tight spots throughout the whole focus. The iris ring goes from T2.2 all the way up to T22. Now, this is a cinema lens, so it's declicked. So you can actually go between the T-stops if you want. You're not restricted to going from, say, T2.2 to T4 and so on. You can actually go basically in between T2.2 and 2.8. At the back of the lens is a metal lens mount. This one is in RF. You can also get these lenses in Sony E mount, Fuji X mount, and you can also get a micro four thirds version of these lenses as well. Only the RF versions come with these red rings, which is a nice touch. It does look really good on the Komodo, as you can see there. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks really nice on the Komodo with the red ring, and also on the Canon C70. To give you an idea of how small these mini cinema primes are from MEIKE, this is their 50mm T2.1 full frame lens, and this is in Canon EF mount. This is a 35mm T2.2. When you put this lens on a Super 35 or an APS-C camera, it's roughly the same focal length as the 50mm. You can really see there's a big difference in size. And the weight difference is noticeable too. Now, when I use the 50mm T2.1, I have to use the Canon speed booster because I don't want a 75mm focal length. I want the 50mm. So I use the speed booster on the red Komodo and on the C70s. But that adds more weight and makes the lens even longer. This is why it's nice to have a lens system designed for a sensor size. I was going to purchase the rest of the lenses in this system, the full frame system, and that would have added a lot of weight to my camera gear because I'm heading back to Taiwan in a few months to finish off a project I started over 3 years ago. But now I'm using these lenses, these Super 35 mini cinema primes from MEIKE. I'm going to be taking these and not the full frame lenses because I shoot mostly with the red Komodo and the C70s. I have the 65, the 50, the 35 and the 10mm, and I have purchased the 25mm to complete the set. It's going to be much easier to travel on an aeroplane with a set of these lenses than it would be with a set of these lenses. You can see all three lenses match really well. They even match the full frame cinema lenses that MEIKE do as well. I did a quick test, it's not in this video, but if you want me to do a video comparing the Super 35 mini cinema primes and the full frame lenses, let me know down in the description. That's the nice part about buying MEIKE lenses. You know you're going to get good glass throughout the whole range and they're going to match. So if you're using, like I said, the full frame lenses or the Super 35 lenses on different cameras, the images is going to match. So if you were using, say, a V-Raptor and a red Komodo, with the Super 35 lenses on the red Komodo and the full frame lenses on the V-Raptor, you know your footage is going to match. You're not going to have any weird color casts or anything like that. Now I'm just going to move these lenses out of the way a minute because I want to show you something. Now I reviewed this lens a few weeks ago, which is the 7 Artisans 25mm for Super 35 APS-C cameras, T1.05. I had to remember that. And if I get the 35mm, which is there, okay. Now, yes, this is 35mm, this is 25mm, but the 25mm is the exact same size, and the 35mm of this lens is the exact same size. Again, you can see the difference in size. And you can see that MEIKE make cinema lenses. 7 Artisans, this is their first range of cinema lenses, and you can see the difference in the gearing. This is much wider. You're not going to get the problem. This is too thin. Now, another thing between these two lenses, this is built from the ground up as a cinema lens. This is not a rehoused photo lens. This is a cinema lens. This is a rehoused photo lens. So you have to remember that when you buy these lenses with a beautiful super fast t-stop of 1.05, which is crazy. This is an incredibly well made lens. I'm not knocking the lens at all because I do really like this lens. But this is a cinema lens. This is a rehoused photo lens. So there is a slight difference. And again, I would rather use the MEIKE lenses than these 7 Artisan lenses all the time because they are very heavy, and at T1.05, it's not very usable. It's a little bit soft. It does get a lot better around about T2.8, but I do prefer the size of these lenses. They're both Super 35 lenses, and they're both RF mount. But the MEIKE lenses will always be in my bag. This is going to be used for special projects or for unique projects when I want a little bit of different look. None of the footage you saw earlier was cropped, so there's no vignetting from any of these lenses on the C70 or on the red Komodo. Now the red Komodo does have a slightly wider Super 35 sensor than the C70, but there's no vignetting from any of these lenses. This footage was shot with the red Komodo and the 65mm at T2.2. As you can see, the out of focus area has some nice character to it. I will put this clip in a Dropbox folder so you can download the footage for yourself and check it out. A link to the Dropbox folder will be down below in the description. I've used cinema lenses that cost more than 10 times the price of these MEIKE lenses, and I still think these MEIKE lenses outperform them. Yes, they do give you a nice clean modern look. That's not for everybody, but for under $500 per lens, I don't think you can go wrong. They are just an incredibly good lens. This lens, again, I keep mentioning this lens because I use it all the time, and it's held up really well. It's been knocked about a bit, but I still haven't lost any paint. It's just a really nice lens to look, and I know exactly what I'm going to get for it. I'm not going to get any crazy artifacts or anything like that. It's just a really nice lens to use, and these Super 35mm lenses are exactly the same. I will be doing a follow-up video with these lenses on the red Komodo because I really haven't had much time to use the 35mm, the 50mm, and the 65mm on the red Komodo. Most of the time it was using the Canon C70 because I'm much happier getting that wet than I am the red Komodo. So I will be doing a follow-up video. If you have any questions or anything you want me to include in that video, leave me a comment down below. I put a link to the MEIKE website down below in the description. So that's it for this video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it, and as always, thank you so much for watching.